always wins. What is up, guys? Gimmer the Video Game Scientist from VG Bootcamp here. A lot of you have been waiting for me to release this video unveiling my broken tech ever since I made this tweet.
So I've discovered something in Ultimate, an application of a known mechanic, and I'm afraid that if I release it, it'll actually be really bad for the metagame. I have no idea if it would ever get patched out. I know it'll eventually get found out though.
Originally I said it might be bad for the metagame, but after labbing it a bit more, I'd rather just showcase it to you guys and let the pros prove how good it is. I wrote a really long and drawn out script, but I realized it was unnecessary, so I rewrote it from scratch and made this whole thing within a few hours. So check this out. I had my younger brother Luke play Mario, and all I said was, try to hit me. As you can see, I just keep phantom footstooling off of him. Why is this possible? Well, phantom footstool farming. Basically, if you burn your double jump and spam jump, it makes being in disadvantage state versus certain characters not nearly as bad. This works because once your double jump is burned, every time you tap the jump button, footstool is buffered under you for 7 frames. So if you press jump 8 or 9 times a second, you have this footstool box under you continuously. And if your opponent tries to challenge you with certain moves, you'll just phantom footstool off of them. I'm sure you're wondering, how are you able to footstool off of hitboxes? Well, you aren't. You're footstooling off your opponent's character model. In Ultimate, they added 4 frames of intangibility to the beginning of footstool animations. And phantom footstools make you fly really high, really quickly. So what happens is, you footstool off their model, the hitbox whiffs because you're invulnerable, and then you jump out of range of the hitbox while invulnerable. By the way, it is not easy to footstool off Arson Joker back air. I just used it as an example for the video. This is easy versus certain aerials and a ton of ground moves. This forces certain characters to stay grounded, space perfectly, or overcommit. That being said, you cannot footstool off disjoints, swords, Pikmin, or projectiles. So this indirectly buffs characters with those attributes. There's also character-specific things that you just can't footstool off. Like, it seems as if Bowser's arms just aren't footstoolable. I'm hoping data miners can look into this and see why it happens. If they can find a certain variable that's attached to these hurt boxes, we might be able to find more of them that can't be footstooled. The main point is, if you're put in disadvantage, you can just burn your double jump, drift away, spam footstool, and then as you're following, mix up your aerial drift, when you fast fall, and whether or not you want to retreat to a platform. And then, as you get close to the ground, you can just throw out an aerial, land, or throw out an air dodge. This adds a new layer to the mix-up when you're trying to land from disadvantage, and as I said before, in certain circumstances, they just can't do anything about it. Against a ton of characters, if they try to intercept you in the air, you'll just jump off them. Even if they try to hit you from the side with dash attack or come up under you with an up smash, some of these moves you can just footstool off of without even trying. And if your character has really good aerial drift, it makes this even better because you're retreating even further, making it even harder for them to get up under you. The height you go when you phantom footstool is character dependent. I'm fairly certain floatiness / fall speed / weight have something to do with how high you go when you phantom footstool, but I'm not 100% certain. Some characters can avoid certain moves, while others cannot. For example, Wolf can escape Joker's up air in many situations, whereas Villager will always get clipped even if he gets the footstool off. Character discords are going to have to look into this and see how good it is for their main. This can also be really good if you're hanging from the ledge. If you just release and double jump towards the middle of the stage and spam jump, in a lot of situations, you'll just get out scot-free. Especially if they're sitting there in range shielding, trying to do a certain attack. If your character's double jump isn't very high and they don't have great aerial drift though, I'd suggest you don't go for this because you won't get very far and you might get smacked in the face. You can do this from ledge jump too. Now the window for your opponent to punish you is higher than ledge let go double jump, but if they don't get you and you double jump over them, it can be incredibly difficult to punish with a ton of characters. The last thing I want to show you is that you can use this for edge guarding. They're recovering low and you just buffer a double jump and then fast fall on top of them while spamming footstool. If they just sit there, your footstool will get them. If they double jump, you'll footstool them there too, and they'll most likely die in both situations. If they up B before you get to them, most likely you'll just phantom footstool the up B, drift onto stage, and then go for a ledge trap. It's important to note that you cannot footstool someone when they're invincible. So be careful when doing this edge guard setup, because if they do an invincible up B and you've already burned your double jump, you might just fall to your death before you even realize that your setup didn't work. By the way, just because someone's head is invincible during a move doesn't mean it's not easy to footstool. Their neck and shoulders are likely not invincible, thus you can still jump off them in many scenarios. Here's some other tidbits I discovered while labbing this out. There's a window that you can't input a footstool after certain moves. For example, if you drop from the Cypher as Snake, there's like this half-second window where you're not allowed to input footstool. The same applies to every aerial. Characters with multiple jumps can buffer footstool in between them, which is really, really strong. Take DDD for example. DDDs like to mix up with jumping and then falling fast with aerials, and the main counter to this is to jump up and hit them in the air. But in a lot of scenarios now, if they're buffering this phantom footstool, it won't work. Something else that's cool is that if you're doing it with ice climbers, sometimes Popo will footstool them and then Nano will freeze them because she'll get hit by the attack. This makes it so in some scenarios you can react with Popo and then down air on top of them. I didn't lab it a ton, but this might actually be really beneficial for ice climbers. Lastly, the reason I was initially scared about releasing this is because I feel like some top players might take super advantage of this in certain matchups and like just circle camp the whole time because they know that character has issues dealing with it. Hopefully I'm wrong and it never comes to that. I'm just really excited to see how top players throw this in their game because there's almost no reason not to. It's pretty non-committal and really good against a ton of moves and a ton of characters. The only thing you gotta be really careful of is that you're burning your double jump. If you're playing super brain dead, you're gonna get clipped and you're gonna die. Well, that's the video. If you like it, consider giving it a like. If you really like it, consider subscribing. And if you really, really like it, consider turning on notifications. I try to only put out really good content and I hope it shows. Anyways, I'm really busy. I got stuff to do. So it's back to the lab with me. I'll see you guys next time.
To the lab again, we messed up. Back to the lab again, not again. Back to the lab again. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again, not again. Back to the lab again.